did, or attempted to do. The last line of the song says, "When I'd say, Lord, hey, show me the way." You might think that that's actually me taking a little stab at "You Light Up My Life," where the line says, "Finally a way to say, hey," but it's not. I had already done that in a previous lifetime, where I had a massive, huge hit before I was old enough to shave, when I was in my incredibly famous, all over the world punk band, Jerry's Kids. If there's no history, then I can write it any way I want. And I had this really cool song called "Hey, You're Pretty Okay." And payback, baby. There's so much payback in the room right now. I can just taste it. And so God's choking me right now. But seriously, I had actually stole that song from an Elvis Costello song. And so if you ever hear the recording of "Hey, You're Pretty Okay," it's the exact same riff as Two Little Hitlers, but we won't go there. But I was in this amazing band, and I have a lifetime of rock and roll memories. Writing songs for and hanging out with the Runaways, being in a seminal hardcore LA punk band, and then my success as a disco superstar and so forth. But the biggest and most fondest memories I have of my Hollywood years happened in 2 evenings' time. One evening, no one in town would book my band because everywhere we played, the Orange County punks came out and tore up the clubs. So we had no place to play. And a buddy of mine invited me to play his house party. Well, he wrote for LA Weekly. I wasn't stupid. So I said, fine, we'll do it. Except that our drummer got into a car accident and we didn't have a drummer for the show. And after we played the stellar event, all the clubs in LA started inviting me to play because so many people were represented that night. And our next show was in the newest LA hotspot, Cafe de Grand. And again, we didn't have a drummer. That man filled in for us. That man filled in for us. That man saved my ass on the 2 biggest shows of my rock and roll career at that point. Now, did he know the songs? No. Did he do just whatever? Yep. Was it amazing? It was beyond amazing. It is so great to see you. I can't believe you're here. Are you embarrassed yet?
It's great to be here.
Because the lap dance is about to happen. So my show in that condition. Robert over there. This is the absolute truth. I have seen some of the best acts in the world perform. And I am the biggest music fan on the planet. And I only speak in superlatives. And while the LA Weekly wrote that I was the best performer to come out of Los Angeles since Jim Morrison.
And they were right.
They were right, damn it.
They were right. They were right.
We were not the best band in Los Angeles since The Doors. This band was in a band called the Extremes. And while this whole ska movement happened, I was living in England before I came back and did Jerry's Kids, and I was there for the eruption of ska, and there were 1.5 okay bands happening. They were okay. This band was the coolest band ever. The coolest band ever. And they were supremely amazing musicians, and they had, I don't even know how to describe the material, the dirtiest songs ever. The dirtiest songs ever. And they were extraordinary. And I remember when he helped me out with my band, and we started getting shows again, that we had a no play on the same night that the Extremes play rule. And we never told anybody that, but it really happened, that whenever someone called to book a show with us, I said, I need to find out where the Extremes were playing that night. Because we weren't going to play on the same night. Not because we were in competition, because, well, you know, we were packing the houses and they were just scrounging. Just kidding. No, because we wanted to go to their shows. Because we simply wanted to go to the shows. And this is the only band in history that I felt that way about. When Joan Jett, everybody knows I'm the biggest Joan Jett fan in the world, came to town and we had shows, we just played our damn shows. But we didn't play with the Extremes. So I'm really honored that you came tonight. Thank you so much. I don't know why we do this, but we give people a round of applause for just sitting there. So, all right. Oh, by the way, that's the only person associated with Jerry's kids that will speak to me. So, no, we're all in contact. The drummer doesn't talk to me, but he did accept me as a friend on Facebook. That's kind of weird. But everyone else, wait till they hear this. All right. I've wasted a lot of time. Thank you for coming tonight. Get the hell out, because I want to go home and watch Celebrity Apprentice. I'm lying. I just think it's really interesting that my fond memory is in a house concert setting, and here we are again. And I think the house concerts are the most sneaky and powerful way to expose people to something they'll never see in a theater setting or in a club setting. And God, that night brings back an awful lot of memories, man. That was quite the evening. I threw up for at least 3 hours. Everyone hated us. Everyone hated us. You may not remember this, but we started out not funny. Everybody hated us. And we really wanted...
I thought it was funny.
We wanted to be the Clash, you know?
I thought you wrote the funniest songs I ever heard.
See? And, but no, the night ended funny because no one was listening and I kept stealing people's beers and I had too many, and then I started rewriting the songs on the spot, and then all of a sudden people paid attention, and we were resurrected that night. We suddenly had, you know, venues to play, and our shows were crowded, and that man sort of saved us. And now look, I have to say his sorry ass. So,
well, he is a drummer.
Sorry, I get to 10 and then we wash my mouth out with soap. No, it was really interesting. I was preparing for tonight and I read something and I wrote it on my arm. See, I wrote my set list. See, I can't see it anymore. I don't know why I bothered to have on the new set list place. And and I read something. I read something in the Bible today, and if you haven't noticed, I am trying to reinvent a wheel here. So when I get to the part of the shows where I talk, I don't want to sound like all the other stuffed shirts, or stuffed skirts, I should say. And so I look at it and I go, well, you know, I gotta preach on this one time for posterity. Oh yeah. The Paisley Yankolovich show is performed before a live audience. And this is going out to TV land. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Remember X-Ray Specs?
Sure.
Paisley found me on YouTube and contacted me. Can you imagine what that was like for me? I couldn't believe it. I was like, it's like I chatted with Johnny Rotten on Facebook. And I thought that was like the coolest day until Polystyrene wrote me at YouTube. So you never know. You never know. I might have my day in court yet. For you guys not in the know, she was lead singer of one of my favorite bands, X-Ray Specs. See, there's a theme here. X-Ray Specs, Extremes. Okay, I'm done with that. I gotta get this out. So anyway, so I read this today and I was like, this is a really popular, preachable story. It's a story in the Old Testament where Joshua sends spies into Jericho, and the king of Jericho wants to kill the spies, and Rahab the prostitute hides the spies, and thus she and her household get delivered out of the hand of the Israelites and into safety and ultimately get converted to Christianity. That's like a real stretch of the Old Testament, but that's pretty much what happened in a way. But my favorite part is this about prostitutes. See, now I can hold on to that. That makes me really cool. You know, I feel like I'm like the underdog in Christianity, and I talk about hoes. I don't even sound cool saying hoes. I saw this thing on Family Feud one night, and it was, what's the guy's name? What's the big guy who was the host? Come on, guys. Someone knows this guy's name. I totally know this guy. I know him personally, and I always draw a blank. Well, anyways, they were at that part where they have to, like, name a bunch of things in different categories for their final points. And the question was, name a garden tool. And the woman goes, a hoe. And the host laughed so hard he couldn't read the next question, and they had to give her extra time. It's the big guy. What's his name? Come on, man. I can't believe I'm being filmed. And this is where you guys have to save me, man. All right, who cares? I'll remember on the way home. But I had a really good story about it, but I'm not telling the story until everybody knows who he is. But it was a juicy one. All right. So I narrowed it, and I go, okay, I can talk about hoes. And I realized, well, that's what everybody is. Everybody preaches the Rahab story and says, you know, a prostitute believed and was saved. That's what everybody preaches. I can't do that one, because that's been done. So here's what I found. It's why she believed. Screw the hoe. That doesn't sound good. Welcome to the Church of the Poison Mind, ladies and gentlemen. Notice why there's nobody here. Notice why there's nobody writing checks. No, seriously. I really practiced that all day. I want you to know I really plan to say that. When she was hiding the Israelites in her home, the spies, after the king's soldiers came and said, are you hiding these people? And she said, no, they've left town. And she sent them on their way. She turned to them and said, remember me, take me with you. But she didn't say some spiritual goo-goo muck like what Ruth said to Naomi, you know, your people will be my people, your God will be my... She didn't say anything like that. She said, I'm scared of you guys. I'm scared because I heard about that thing about the Red Sea parting. And I heard what you did to the Egyptians. So I have a chance that I'm face to face with you guys to say, I'll get on your team. There's nothing spiritual about it. She's just using her thinker. Because she said, your God scares me. Your God scares me. And I was like, I love that. I love the concept. My God's bigger than your God. I love that. I hid behind that baby a million times in the last 7 years. Go ahead. Go for it. Take the first swing and let's see what my God does to protect me. I'm afraid. Well, I thought about this, and I want to say like I was like super spiritual. Man, I was like, it was on my list of things I had to do today, and I wanted to check the box. So I ran to where the Bible was. I went to the first page where I was reading. I found the Rahab thing. I looked at it. I went, ooh, that's good. Okay, church. And went on with my day. But I couldn't shake the thought of, I'm going to follow you guys because I've heard stuff about your God, and it scares me. And I don't want to get on his bad side. I love that. I just think that was amazing. And I'm sure if we dug really hard into the New Testament, we would find things that said stuff like, this really isn't about words, this is about power. This isn't about our faith. This is about his faithfulness. Things like that.